I have an AI, AGI agency. I'm going to show you like some of the workspace that I use. So this is where I currently have most of my setup. Those aren't all my devices, but that's the majority. And then the other suggestion was to show you some of the real life data of the results that I'm seeing. I'm showing you here a message that was a text message between myself and the tattoo shop that I am using as my best use case. They're just like the ideal avatar client. And so I asked him in a text, like, how are you seeing any changes in your foot traffic? And he's saying yes, he has. And he's saying that it's been really helpful for him because he doesn't really he doesn't need to understand the computer side of the stuff I'm doing. And also I frequently ask him, with your depth of knowledge, what would be something that would be trending probably over the summer, for say, or in the spring it was. So he said piercings were trending, so we made sure to put stuff up in his keywords and in his SEO that had a lot to do with piercings, so that as people looked for piercers in the area, he would start to rank higher. And I can show you in a second those results. And I did ask him, like, what would you price this at? And he gave me some very fair figures. He said from 2 to 6K. I think a standard 3K these days for a basic website build is more than generous. And I think that's yep, that's him right there saying that that's fine with him. That is what I use to kind of highlight his results from who's on from the person, the business owner who's experiencing having paid through the nose for some SEO and keywords and stuff like that. And after I looked at his website, I was like, you don't even need most of that. And so if you are a business owner and you are being faced with like, basically getting gouged, I guess, now that there's AI available to everyone in the way that you're coming up on search rankings, then please like do DM me or find me on LinkedIn, send me a message here. You can also find me on my latest website. In my perspective, it's not fair to charge a business owner what the rates used to be for SEO or keywords, because it is common knowledge available online now. So again, a standard rate is 3K to build your website, and then a $300 to $500 month-to-month subscription to keep your website ranking and to keep adding content to it, not in a way that you will find at most agencies. Okay. And I'm not just like using AI to like generate content. I'm working with AI. So during the day, I'm an AI engineer, an AI architect, integrated AI specialist. Like, you can call it whatever you want, right? Like, all the fields are collapsing into one. So all of my knowledge in the 11 plus years of freelancing as a web developer, like everything from art and image generation, video generation, like deciding what a storyboard is going to look like, all of that stuff is like all packed into this neat package. And this client, artofinkstudio.com, was the perfect is the perfect client, because they like really let me just basically redo their website, and they made it really easy for me. So of course I want to make it really easy for them. And if you're reading any of this message, I'm letting them know that I'm not just doing what you're going to find at most SEO companies, and I'm not just doing what you're going to find at like some of the most successful SEO companies, because I'm also a data scientist and I'm also an AI engineer. So I am taking data that is not your common place to find data, and I am using AI to make like baby AGI. You can find that in one of my other videos, where I am essentially creating new math that's going to really support businesses. And the other thing that I'm offering is like a website of the future. So if you haven't used Perplexity and you're a business owner, I highly suggest that you take advantage of something like getting your feet wet with something like Perplexity, so you can see why Google might not be like the best place to put all your eggs in their basket, right? Like, so in the case of what I'm doing, because I'm using AI, I can work a lot faster and get like way better results, which is what you're seeing from him here. I'll show you the data in a second. And what I'm doing is I'm also future-proofing his website. So they are already prepared to take on the challenge of outpacing bigger companies and corporations that are going to start swallowing up these smaller businesses, because I'm already injecting in there a way to include blockchain into their code of their website, right? Which is not that hard. You can do that through GoDaddy like quite easily. Honestly, like you don't have to pay $200 to go get a website that can handle NFTs. Doing is making sure that they have content that is structured as JSON, because Perplexity does not handle even long tail keywords in the same way that your basic Google search keywords are handled. So there's like 3 or 4 transitions here, right? So you have like, well, actually there's like 5. So you have your basic SEO, which most companies sell right now, which I think are thievery. Like I think it's highway robbery to bill somebody as much as they are, because there's now AI for content and keywords. Okay, that's just like my 2 cents. Especially if like you're really a capitalist, so you understand like the value of making sure that other businesses are also self-sustaining, like then you can kind of understand why I would make such a politically charged statement. Of course, if there is a marketing agency or like a website agency that is able to charge that much and people are willing to pay because they do deliver whatever the person is looking for, like, good on them, like congrats, like like you earned it, I guess is what I can say about that. So there's like your traditional SEO and keywords, and then there is also like the upcoming, which is already in place in like some of the Google stuff and in Amazon Analytics, which is long tail keywords, which are the ones that really take into account like user intent. So that's your basic data science, NLP kinds of stuff, right? And then on top of that is going to be like the structured JSON, which is a lot harder to go and rip off with HARPA. So HARPA and tools like HARPA. So I'm using the word Perplexity. Perplexity is another search engine that's similar to Google, except the difference is that it gives you like a very targeted result to what you're looking for, and it like gets rid of all the garbage links and all the ads and all that crap that like you have to like muddle through when you're using Google, right? Perplexity is just one example of these like upcoming challengers to the Google empire. And then you have things like I was saying, like Amazon, where yes, you need the keywords, but you also need the search intent. Like people need to be able to find what they're looking for. So that's the second one. That's like the data science NLP. And then the third one is the structured JSON, right? What back to talking about HARPA. HARPA is a website program that is pretty much free. I pay for it through the API. I can show you here actually. So if I go to any website, right? And let's say that I'm just gonna look at I don't know, I'm gonna look at, I guess I don't have anything interesting on here. I'm gonna look for best football game this year. Right? So let's say this is like what traditional SEO companies might do. So they'll like go to the top link here, and then you go to your HARPA tool. This is HARPA. This, like anybody, there's so many of these, like don't get stuck on who's building it or what the name of the company is. And this is HARPA on the right-hand side over here. I think you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. And you can see my mouse better. I started recording a little bit differently, which might make my image a little bit blurry, but who cares? Like, I just want you to see what I'm looking at on my screen. So like, I just type into HARPA, I do this like SEO thing, right? And I'm like, outranks this article. And then it's like, well, what part of the article? And I'm like, the whole thing, right? And then, oh, and you can do it this way, or you can actually, there's actually like a faster way to do this. Or even like some of the more modern SEO companies are doing. They're just like leveraging this kinds of stuff. Like that is not going to cut it, because then there's going to be people like me that know about this, that know more data science, that know like more about the math and statistics behind it, and that understand like HTML, hypertext transfer protocol, right? And like TCP/IP, what is it, like transfer whatever internet protocol. So what I'm also doing is I'm making sure that I'm building websites like this one. So if you look at this website, which is my current, I guess like the current website that I'm using for a lot of like the stuff I'm promoting. So if I go here and I try to use HARPA here, because of the way that I structured the JSON and the way that I structured like the way that these files are showing up, like as a collective, they are sucking ass like on Google Search Console, right? But that doesn't mean that they're actually sucking, because I'll show you in a minute, like there are different places where you can see like how well your websites are doing. right? So like if I try to use Harpa on my website, and I'm not gonna, you can go in here and you can look at all of the content behind it, but it's, I think it does let you, yeah, actually that's all it was the enter button. So if I look at all of my stuff here, it was able to capture everything that I did on this page over here. But if you've noticed, like it has not captured anything about my other pages because I split it up so that if somebody is looking for like a place to sell their existing ads agency or their existing marketing agency, like this is going to come up right in search results. If somebody is looking for like a, let's see, which other one was there? Like like a portfolio thing that has to do with like examples. And I know this isn't rendering so nice, but like I'm not as worried about that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like this won't come up in your Harpa API way, like super cheap way of like lifting my content and then putting it in your search engines, right? So that is like one of the big strategies I'm using is that I'm using JSON structured text to like make sure that you always have relevant content. So it's going to be really hard for an automated system to like go in there, even with an API key and like basically lift all my content because I've made it that way. I made it purposefully harder because I understand computer science really well, right? And then you also would have to basically manually try to scrape my website because there are more than one frames in here. It is basically like HTML with a bunch of frames, with a bunch of HTML, with a bunch of CSS and JSON inside of it. And it's purposefully horrific code so that it's really hard for someone else to like come in and lift it. So I don't know if that makes sense to a business person, but basically what I'm trying to say is I worked in automation for 2 years and I'm like quite gifted at writing the algorithms that can scrape past any bots, like any walls. Like I am really good at that stuff. So I know what it looks like as someone trying to take the content. So I build my websites as somebody that's like protecting the content, right? It was not able to easily lift all the rest of the content, which is also like ranking on its own. Right. And I don't put that much work into this because that's the purpose of me making like actual content, but I will show you now. Here is like, for example, the original website that I'm showing you. Right. And I need to fix their video. That's on me, actually. Like that was another message that we were talking about a minute ago. I'm gonna fix their video. But yeah, see, like all of this content, you could easily take any of this content with Harpa, like any of it, right? But if you go over here to their blog, some of this stuff you're going to be able to take, but I also am including some extra, they're not hidden because like Google will punish you for trying to hide things. But like in the blog posts is where I am adding like HTML that is written in a way that makes it really hard to like go and beat his website because of the way that I'm like putting the updated content in there. And shout out to them. I just want to mention like that. Oh, it does work. It's right here. Okay. I just need to fix the load time. But essentially, like this owner, and I've only met them once in person, but he patented like this thing called tattoo cards. And that's why I decided to basically like choose them as like my ideal client because they're actually doing something beyond just tattooing, which already is very valuable in my opinion. They're promoting health within the tattooing ecosystem. And so with these tattoo card things, he organizes the needles in a way that keeps it a lot cleaner. So like there's a lot less chance of infection and like contamination with blood and whatever else, you know, the ink and stuff in tattoo shops. And I thought it was brilliant because it could also be used like by other medical professionals. So if anybody is interested in that, please do DM me because like I do get a payout if I refer traffic to them or business for these. Of course I do. But I also think that it's like such a gift to get to be the person, one of the people that supports an artist that is also like doing more than most, right? So that's their plug there. And then I can show you here in our performance console, right? Explains the answer to this question. How do you know? How do you find the people that are going to want your stuff? And my answer to that has always been, I don't build stuff and then expect someone else to want to do what I did, to care about what I built. I look at what collectively people care about, and then I look at what I care about, and I find something that I care about that supports like what the national, international trends are already. So I don't build with like the egomaniacal view that because I find such and such movie interesting, like, and I built a product that really supports that movie, like everyone's gonna flock to my website because it's this like it's about this crazy movie and it's such a good idea. Well, like I learned from one of my data scientist friends, he was like, it's a great idea, but it's not a good idea, right? So like you would be better suited to first make sure that you have like a market trend analysis. This is like a very rudimentary market trend analysis, but I will show you what I'm doing to make sure that what I think is going to work is actually going to work. So these are actually the websites that I pick, and I was like, oh, well, like what is actually going to make a difference? Right? Like which webs, like what are people caring about in the AI space? Because I obviously, like if you work in AI, you know that it's like going to transform the world. Like I had a really hard time convincing other people, I feel, in El Paso, but they're not my problem in a way, right? Like I did what I could. I was like, hey, like it's like baby Terminator. Hey, like look, this could change your life. Like, look, I'm using it to fix like my dad's healthcare. I used it to like fix like a potential tooth infection, which I don't recommend. I'm not saying that you're gonna get the same results or that you should do any of this. I'm just saying this is what I'm doing, and this is a proof I'm showing you that like this stuff is working for me. I have another one where I saved my family like and myself like $300,000 worth of taxes. It's all coming down to prompt engineering and understanding how to formulate better and better questions. So how does this all tie back? So like if you notice here, I'm not going to be spending too much time on agi.kitchen right now because look, it's only valued at $632 by GoDaddy. Is GoDaddy claiming that this website, if I put it up for sale today, someone's going to give me $2,700? No, they're not. Nobody's claiming that, right? But what I am saying is if I'm going to be spending time on building something, it's going to be on the ones that are already showing promise. I have like a shit ton of other websites over here that aren't really showing promise. So I'm not going to like spend time or money trying to fix these at all. Like, yeah, there's like even some like you would think that they would be gaining a lot of traction, but they're not. So I'm just going to discard them because they're not worth paying like $70 per year for them if they're not already performing, right? Like I already know that these are performing because you can see the estimated value is really high. I haven't even touched these. Like this one has existed for a long time. This one with my name has existed for a very long time. And like there's other Elsa Velasquez out there that like there's like a doctor and I don't know, other people that have the same name. So those are really valuable too. And like so I think that they're also adding to the value of the domain name on the internet. It's not just because it's like it's existed or because it's mine. But I will not spend time on these. I'll focus on these that are working. And this one is not on the Art of Ink Studio, or is it? This one is because I forwarded this domain with the S at the end to the tattoo company that is like working so well with me. So it's not the same website. Their website actually won't show on here because they're part of my GoDaddy Pro side. This is just like my personal websites. Anyway, that's what I'm trying to show you is like I don't just accept jobs, or like propositions for intellectual property, or they haven't done the market research for me to be trusting that like they have something that people are gonna want to like pay for. Because then it's just a hobby. The structured JSON I can show you probably off of my GoDaddy account. But you can also like Google for yourself. I'm not Google, ask ChatGPT, like what does structured JSON look like? It's basically a dictionary with just a certain way of writing code in your website that makes it so that AI and probably AGI, like more than likely AGI, is going to find it really easy to understand what your website is about. So it'll naturally be a higher rank result when people ask questions that your website will answer. So this website right here, evcharge.blog, this website right here is from like a weekend ago. And it is getting out ahead of the very highly likely trend of the shortage of electricity that's going to happen, that even Elon Musk has predicted, right? Like we all know that like more people are getting EV cards. Like in California, it's a mandate. You can't help it. So what this website is doing is it is gathering some, you could call it emails, contacts, like interested electricians that want to be a part of this, because I guarantee you, if I'm in El Paso and I'm already having a hard time finding an electrician, it's gonna get like really, really hard to find one, but it's gonna go really, really well for electricians that signed up with this website, because when people are like in a bind and they need an electrician and like they are willing to do whatever they need to keep their family safe and safely install electricity, like yeah, they're gonna turn to places like this. And I learned today from another YouTube video I was watching that what I also need to be including is ways for this to generate its own income. So I am going to later today or sometime this week also add a way for them to request a Zoom chat with like a certified electrician in case they want to do it themselves, but they do need to consult with somebody over something. So I will keep a database of all of the available electricians that are interested in partnering with this agency, and I will make their data available to whomever wants an electrician. And so when this shortage happens, right, I will have like a very well-connected list of qualified electricians that I have personally put trust into. Like my first electrician is one that was actually here not even 2 weeks ago at my Airbnb fixing a door that like a drunk person kicked in. So these are examples of why it's a very good time to like find yourself your AI or AGI agent agency. Because as you hear more about AI, like I'm already working on AGI and ASI, right? So like as you work with me with your AI, like I'm already injecting everything that you're gonna need, like when AGI is in full effect. Right now it's still in like baby AGI stages. And the whole conversation of AI and AGI I covered in a separate video. But these are my efforts to give you like really compelling firsthand information about like how to really apply this to your life, to your business, make sure your business thrives, make sure that you're like locking down like really good rates for getting your business set up with this stuff. As the days like continue progressing, if I could, and I didn't feel like I was violating privacy with people that email me, I would show you like how many people are contacting me for like my services. So of course I have to like start increasing my rates. My rates are not even as high as people that have like zero like coding skills and stuff like online. They just have like more exposure. But I am like a really serious person and I do like really support with code, like things that I care about. So uh, secure your rates, kitchen. Um, so these are examples of why it's a very good time to like find yourself your AI or AGI agent agency. Because as you hear more about AI, like I'm already working on AGI and ASI, right? So like as you work with me with your AI, like I'm already injecting everything that you're gonna need, like when AGI is in full effect. Right now it's still in like baby AGI stages. And the whole conversation of AI and AGI I covered in a separate video. But these are my efforts to give you like really compelling firsthand information about like how to really apply this to your life, to your business, make sure your business thrives, make sure that you're like locking down like really good rates for getting your business set up with this stuff. As the days like continue progressing, if I could, and I didn't feel like I was violating privacy with people that email me, I would show you like how many people are contacting me for like my services. So of course I have to like start increasing my rates. My rates are not even as high as people that have like zero like coding skills and stuff like online. They just have like more exposure. But I am like a really serious person and I do like really support with code, like things that I care about. So uh, secure your rates whether with me or with one of those agencies. Like it's like you're gonna start to run into a like shortage of people that know how to do this stuff that are gonna be at a reasonable cost. You know, like we all have like, I don't know, most of us are willing to work for a certain price. You can go on Fiverr, you can go like Upwork, whatever. I've gone on those websites and I have another video where I explain like, even as an AI architect, I still had to really know what was happening, because if I had let that code sit the way that it was, that person would have bankrupted me, because I mean, I'm not gonna blame the person, but like the way that code was written, which still was performing what I asked it to do, like they would have bankrupted me because they were making API calls like crazy and like really expensive other stuff that, like, if you don't really know how to maneuver AWS or these other cloud services, like they're gonna eat you up with the cost, and like you're gonna pay for a cheap product, right? You're gonna pay for a cheap software developer, but you're still gonna end up like paying for it some other way. Just like most people that like come into money, or that grew up with money, or that understand like you get what you pay for, and if you don't pay for it up front, you're gonna pay for it later, probably worse. So that's my soapbox. And yeah, if you know any electricians that want to like join my agency, please do go to evcharge.blog. All of these contact details are current. I do change them often because I get overwhelmed with how many people are reaching out. However, I do have some that is like very reliable that I have full trust in, is helping me field some of these. So it's easiest to send a text message there or find me on LinkedIn, leave a message. My channel is for the business owners, not even like trying to appeal to like my tech buddies, right? Or the data scientists, or even the like teachers or local business owners that are like, I guess like ingrained in the traditional ways. Like the world evolved, whether you accept it or believe it or not. Like the world has evolved. So I am looking for forward-minded business owners that like want to lock down like really good rates with me at the beginning, right? And if anybody has suggestions on where to find, especially baby boomer ads agencies or baby boomer, what would you call them, like other kinds of like digital media agencies, I would love your input in the comments, because I would love to partner with them so that like as they have a graceful exit from their business and they get to retire comfortably, right? Or not, like, but they can with me, because I can, instead of spending my time trying to find clients while I'm still like doing my 40 to 80 hour a week regular day job, which I want to transition out of, as an employee. Like I'm transitioning out of W-2 to like more like autonomous agency kinds of stuff. And I do like have contracts where I do get paid through my EIN, not through my social, just FYI. Yeah, like it's happening, like it's working, right? I want to help that population that's worked so hard on their business to develop great clients and client relationships. I want to know how to find them so that I can help them by guaranteeing that they're going to be able to keep up with like this AI revolution. And I don't say that lightly. Like I don't have imposter syndrome, because you can see it. Like once you're really good at something, like you just know that you are. Like you don't need to debate it. You don't need to flash it in front of other people. Like the data, the proof is in the pudding. Like the data is there. I just showed you the data. Um, so those populations, like you will get swallowed up by people like me, right? And I don't do it to like hurt anybody. I do it because we have to progress. And so if you know a way to find these agencies, or you know of an agency, like please do refer them to me. And I will help them continue to make money, and they will help me because it'll make it easier for me to find like quality clients, right? Like, and building relationships from a business to a business is probably to me like more valuable than making friends with my neighbors like next door. You know, like I care about them enough, but like I would rather spend my energy like supporting things like art, which is why I chose tattoo shops, which is an unlikely candidate. Um, Electricity is a big deal. I will also like tap into concrete. So like anything that helps the infrastructure of a city, right? And I hope that the message is clear, like either partner with me or find an agency for the rate to go up. I end this.